Hi everyone, for this lesson I'll show you how to write in radical and exponential forms and also how to switch back and forth between the two. Alright, let's say we have this where you're taking the nth root of a number that is represented by the letter A. The n is called the index. And obviously, this is the radical sign. And the A, or the number inside the radical, is called the radicand. Let's take a look at this exponential form. We have x to the 1/2 power. How do we write that in radical form? Well, the base is x, and if it's to the 1/2 power, we'll use the radical sign, and we'll take the square root of x. So x to the 1/2 is equivalent to the square root of x. So let's, instead of the 2, let's say it's a different number. So let's erase that. And let's say that we're taking x to the 1/3 power. So 1/3. So now, how do we write that in radical form? Well, you have to put the 3 as your index. So x to the 1/3 in exponential form is equivalent to the cube root of x. Now, instead of 3, let's just say we have some general number n. Alright, let's call that n down here. So what does that mean in terms of the radical form? Well, it's going to be the nth root of that number. So whatever this n is, you put it as your index in the radical form. So let's say instead of a 1, you want that to be a different number. And we're going to use m to represent that number. So how do we represent that to the right hand side here in radical form? Well, in that case, let's put parentheses around this, and we have to raise that to the m power. So x to the m over n is equivalent to the nth root of x raised to the m power. Alright, so we have this expression in radical form, which is the cube root of 27x squared. Now I want to write this in exponential form. So the radicand, whatever's inside the radical sign, is 27x raised to the 2nd power. Now the cube root right here, outlined in blue, implies that I want to take this and raise it to the 1/3 power because it's the cube root. Okay, so now properties of exponents, right? You have to multiply the 2 and the 1/3. So this will give me 27x raised to the 2 times 1/3. You take the 2, you take the 1/3, and you multiply the two numbers, you'll get 2/3. So in terms of writing this as an exponential form, or in exponential form, it will be 27x raised to the 2/3 power. Alright, let's go backwards. Let's say we have this expression here, x to the 1/2 times x to the 3/5, which is in exponential form, and I want to write that in radical form. So here, if you multiply powers with the same base, in this case the base is x, the base stays the same, and you have to add the exponents. So here we have 1/2 plus 3/5. Now you can't add the two fractions unless you find the LCD, which is the least common denominator. In this case it's 10, so you have to change this to multiply both numbers by 5, you get 5 over 10, and you have to multiply these two numbers by 2 to get 6 over 10, and you add them, you get 11 over 10. Okay, so it's 11 over 10. But I want to write that in radical form. So here, think of it as the nth root, which is 1 over 10. So this is your index, the 10. So think of it like this nth root, the 10 will go here, and the x is your radicand, so that'll go there, and the 11 can either go inside the radical sign here, or I think it's easier if you just put it outside. So let's highlight this here, the 11, and we'll make the parentheses and raise that to the 11th power. Okay, so we're done here and we're happy.